This call is being recorded.
Welcome to a Diary of a Fashionista. Today, today will be Monday, even though this episode is recorded on a Sunday, crazy Sunday at that. And to let you guys know the project that you kind of heard going on in the background on Friday when we recorded is still going on. Basically, what's happening is before I get a long term Medicaid, my trust fund wants to pay for my aids, and of course, they require expense reports and all that fun stuff. So, I, my stepmom decided to involve my aide. My stepmom decided to involve my aide and myself on Friday by asking us who knows Google Excel spreadsheets, Google Sheets. And we're like, oh boy. And of course, I hate to throw my mom under the bus, but she, of course, doesn't have any receipts. They want it back to May. And so she yeah. So long story, which I'll get into after October 2nd. This long story, and I leave it at that for right now. But oh my God, fighting with technology, are we? Yes, 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 and yes. When and a PC don't get along, when and a PC still don't get along, and oh my God, fighting with technology. But today, Danielle and I are going to talk about travel, because along with fighting with technology, this week is 9/11, and my main aide, proceeds to tell me 2 months ago that, oh, by the way, I'm going out of town. Is this okay with you? And I'm like, well, as you gave me 2 months notice, and of course it's great because she actually did something before my dad died and didn't realize that my life would complete loose on me. So yeah, so she's actually pulling out of my driveway at 4 p.m. on the Wednesday, 9/11, and September 11th. And so we're going to be talking about CP and travel. And then on Thursday, we're actually going to be talking about CP and self care. My goodness, totally different perspective on that. So, one thing I do want to say is that you would think CP and travel is fun. No, it's hell on it's hell on wheels because the TSA and me do not get along. They think 9 times out of 10, and this is the God honest truth, they think 9 times out of 10 I'm carrying a bomb. So they literally swarm me down, which I can't move, so I can barely walk without assistive devices. So they literally swarm me down, do a full pat down on me to when, oh, this is a good one, when they asked me in Washington, Dallas, do you want to be removed from your stuff to be taken into a private screening room? And I was with a person who's now my ex boss, and I said, no way, no way, no how, because of her tendencies. And still, I will not go into a private screening room to be away from my stuff while someone else is watching my stuff. So not only do they have to watch their own stuff, they have to watch my stuff, which requires a, a backpack to a wheelchair, my carry-on, like, and so the next time I travel, it's going to be a totally different story because when I'm not traveling with my normal travel buddy, I'm traveling with someone completely different. But I'm also going to consolidate down to my carry on because that's going to make it easier on my aid. Because if we have to do this monkey dance with the TSA because and now you gotta remember I'm in a wheelchair. My wheelchair is bright orange and it's also bright yellow because I have two of them. So and I've watched the TSA pour mother's milk out of a baby bottle at 6 a.m. in the Tampa airport. Not not cool. Not cool. And so the way the TSA treats the disabled is not cool. Not cool. And my dad, God bless him, was so stuck in his ways that he didn't like to travel. And I come from a family of travelers, by the way. And so my mom and I would take off to go to international countries on primarily on cruises, but of course you have to meet the cruise at the port of call, primarily Florida. Thank you very much. And so I've spent a lot of time in Miami-Dade Airport. Yikes, that's a fun airport to spend a lot of time in. Yeah, the Atlanta airport is a little bit better, but that's a lot of time to spend. Denver, Atlanta, Nassau is how we would do it, and Nassau finally got a new airport, which I'm excited to see. Probably won't see, but that's how we would do it. And every single time entering the airport, I either on one end, I either have to go through customs or I either have to get a pat down. And going through customs is the most scary thing of your life when you're a US citizen and your mom refuses to get to get her US citizenship and live on green card until the day she dies. And so and so yeah, that's a little scary. And for those of you traveling on 9/11 this year, like my aide, good luck. All I have to say is good luck because they're going to heighten security. And I kind of hinted at my aide. I said, you know, you're traveling on the worst day of the year to travel. And uh, I won't say where she's going. She's not. She's not the happiest camper to be going out to where she's going. But she is happy at what she's doing. She's just not happy where the conference is taking place, Las Vegas. Which, uh, once you meet my aide on the podcast on person, you know that she doesn't, nor do I like Las Vegas. We don't, Las Vegas and us don't mix. So, and she wants to do it and more power to her, but um, the problem is she's driving to Denver late, which that's a long story in terms of why she's working with me that day, and now she's driving to Denver late, and it's like, why, why on 9/11? And as I said, I kept teasing her. I said, you know, you're traveling on the worst day to travel. She goes, I know, this is how it's laid out, and I'm like, ugh, good luck because they're going to heighten the security. and they're just going to heighten everything. And DIA, TIA is heightened enough on a good day. Denver International Airport is heightened enough on a good day, but I can't imagine traveling on 9/11. I just my my palace will be sending her good vibes because, as I said, they're going to heighten every little inch of DIA, and so traveling with CP is something that I want to do again. I'm brave enough to do it, but I haven't done it since 2017 because of the sticky wicket of my dad. My dad wanting me to stay here, and my dad not wanting to pay someone to travel with me. And because he did it for so many years on the road, he was so sick of traveling. And the last time he traveled was was in the ambulance down to Denver. So that was, and he had no control for that one. So that was a fun one. It snowed the day that I was having a panic attack up here. He's in the ambulance. We're trying to get him down to Denver. It's snowing on top of Dale Pass, and yeah, that was not good, and it was raining down in Denver, and I can't imagine him being strapped to a basketball, and he was so frustrated by the time he got to University of Denver that I won't quote you his text that I memorized now, but he was so frustrated by the time he got to Denver. Poor guy. But no, my dad did not like travel. My stepmom does. She's a little bit more into traveling. I am completely into traveling. If give me the opportunity to travel, and I will do it with a buddy. But Danielle, what about you? Because you haven't traveled in a long time by a plane, have you?
Uh, no.
Oh, that is right. You did. You did last. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that. That when I keep forgetting about that. You you went to Ireland, Lucky Duck. So and I wasn't privy to that trip. All I got was fear of missing out, FOMO, and so or as they say now, joy of missing out, joy FOMO, and so you went to Ireland, but you still got attacked by the TSA because you are disabled, and I think the disabled is
Yeah.
carrying God knows what. And so Danielle and I get attacked by the TSA
Yeah.
times out of 10 because Danielle's walking with a funny gait and I'm in a wheelchair. And so the TSA thinks, well, fine, pair, because,
Yeah.
well, fine, pair, because
Yeah.
we, even though we're harmless, according to the TSA, we're not. And they make me lift up. I wear closed-toed shoes, which, by the way, I need to tell Aid to wear closed-toed shoes. I don't think shoes. I wear closed-toed shoes just because, and I dress nicely for the TSA, but it still doesn't help. I mean, they make me go up on my arms of my wheelchair. Now imagine me going up on my arms of my wheelchair to look underneath underneath where I'm sitting. There's the wheelchair, there's a honeycomb seat, which is $1,000. Thank you very much, just for the seat. And so they make me push myself up on the arms of my wheelchair to see if there's anything suspicious under my under where I sit. I mean, Jesus, they're checking every little thing. And I traveled. pre 9/11 too, and pre 9/11 you actually got food on the airplanes. For those of you who are listening, thinking, when pre 9/11? Yes, when pre 9/11. I traveled post 9/11 too. So I want to do it again. I'm brave enough to do it again, but I just have to battle the TSA. And so, Danielle, what is your favorite part of traveling?
No, 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 no,
To go places that you've never been. Okay.
no.
My favorite part of traveling is actually, believe it or not, sitting in the airport and people watching. Believe it or not, that's because I'm so used to traveling, and we're getting Denver's a bigger airport than we have up here, and we're getting to the point of, as I said yesterday, we're getting to the point of one way in, one way out, and it just scares me half to death that um that my aide decided to do this. And yeah, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. And because she is the type of person that will not go over the pass, will not go over beautiful Independence Pass, and so she has to take the long way, which takes good 4 hours. And I asked her last night, I said, "Can you drive in the dark?" Because I can't. I can. There's a passion. My stigmatism is too bad, and my even though my stigmatism is stable, when it gets dark, I can't see. So and my stepmom can't drive in the dark either. She um, she has said that publicly. I can't drive in the dark, and not can my stepsister, because my stepsister is almost legally blind. So I am asking my aide, because my aide is gonna get right off uh on an airplane right in Denver, and she's driving to Denver, driving to DIA, and then getting on the airplane, and then doing what she's doing, and then on the way back, she is driving after flying all day, and ay ay ay, it's like okay. So Wednesday's gonna be a little chaotic, you guys. Just be aware that
Yeah.
I may not peek my head on social media just because I am trying to get myself organized slash her to get out of here, and myself to have a friend come work with me temporarily. And oh my god, it's gonna be an interesting show on Wednesday. But luckily
No.
I am not doing it. My aide, more power to her, she's doing it. And the last time she did a road trip out to Salt Lake City for 2 weeks and left left me with nothing. I'm not kidding. She didn't even leave me with she. Ugh, I didn't even tell you guys this story. She hires now a completely ex friend of hers, which because this ex friend of hers happened to be homeless and living out of her car. Thank you very much. So 2 weeks I had this woman in my house, and because two of all birth sign. My aunt and I share the same birth sign. My birthday's in June. Her birthday's in July, and so we're both cancers. But that being said, Cancer the birth sign, not Cancer disability here. But that being said, cancers make friends way too easily. So yeah, she had just moved there, and I know why she did it too. She had just moved there, made friends with a homeless person. To- this homeless person played it up as to say to me and my aunts and Mallory and Juliet, "Oh, I can do this job. I can do this job." By the by the end of 2 weeks, I was never so happy to see that woman leave because um, the first morning, now granted, she's taking the bus and walking in my neighborhood, and she looks like she's homeless too. I'm surprised my neighbors didn't say anything. But the first morning, she goes, she now granted, she's been driven to my house twice by Siri. Siri has a good sense of directions too. And she did a training day with Siri. We interviewed her and then she did a training day. And so that's fine. But the first morning, she gets lost, has to call Siri about, I am not kidding, 7 times, 7 times. And this homeless person was more disabled than me. So, and I'm like 7 times to find my house. And then she goes, I say thank you very much for something to this person. And she goes, I have never been thanked for a meal in my life. And I'm like, oh boy, oh boy, here we go. And then she kept going on and on and on about her personal life. And it's like, really? Really? I don't need this. So, needless to say, since then, my aide who hired this woman has dropped her as a friend, and the friend wonders why, because my aide literally said there were issues with Win. I don't want you working with Win again because you left me in a sticky wicket, and I she left me with no contact information, no nothing. So if this woman did something to me, like let's say broke my arm, because this woman didn't know me from a hole in a wall. So I and Sally's gotten to the point of Mama Lion. I mean, don't mess with Win. Win is Win is mentally fragile. Don't mess with Win. But at so this time she was smart enough to set me up with someone that already knows me, because I asked this person, I said, would you happen to be willing to help me out there? And I gave enough notice that she was willing to help me out. And so I'm like, well, that's good. And then to top it all off, Siri actually gave me her emergency contact information too. So I have that. So if anything were to happen, I know basically who to call when. And these people don't know me, but I will say, look, this is when Charles, this is what's going on. Because my dad had no emergency contacts, none whatsoever. And my stepmom, when she checks herself into the hospital for a small procedure, my dad was hers. So it's like my dad had no emergency contacts. And Sally said that to me. What happened to your dad, I don't want to happen to you again. And I just, ugh. So traveling with CP is something I enjoy, something I want to do again, and Danielle loves it too. But we get attacked
Yeah.
by the TSA, and
Yeah.
there's no two ways about it. There's no two ways about it.
Me. I. You. No. I.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I didn't know you had the iPad all hooked up. I
Yeah.
didn't know you. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Traveling with CP in the airport is the hardest thing ever because I have to take everything off my body that doesn't set the alarm off, even my shoes. My mom helped me as much as she can. The first time we were in JFK going to Ireland, every worker yelled at us to hurry up, and I nor my mom like it. It was a
Oh,
nightmare.
yeah. The nightmare from hell in these bigger airports. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Trust me. Trust me. Damn, Washington Dallas not so fun. Dallas is when I travel out there next year. And yes, I will be working on that after my aide gets back. When I have the money and when I have the money and the flexibility to travel to podcast movement. That's my ultimate goal. This next summer is to travel to podcast movement 2020 and get a hug from all my fans who are there. And it's going to be a grieving session, basically, because you guys have sat through everything with me. And so Dallas is a little bit easier, but um, these bigger airports these bigger airports don't respect people with disabilities. And I know in some airports, I am about to say Philadelphia. Philadelphia has a quiet room for those with autism, and I might use a quiet room because once I get on the plane, it's perfectly fine. But going through the airports is nuts. So I no, so no, I have to put the Playboy stick on to go to go out to podcast movement, you guys, because my age is about the same. My travel buddies are about the same size as me, and I'm not asking the one who normally travels with me. I'm asking my living native. She's still my living aide at the time, but right now she's going to be in doesn't plan to move, and so but my travel buddies are about the same size as me. So, and so it's gonna be interesting to travel with someone that actually wants to do it and gets paid to do it. I mean, Sally actually wants to do this, and Sally suggested we bring along Danielle. I kind of vetoed that one because I know that podcast movement, from what I've been told, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, those of you who are listening, podcast movement is big. Podcast movement is huge. And there's a lot of walking. And so, yeah, if we bring Danielle, which I told Danielle that maybe this year we go alone. Celia and I go alone, and then next year she can hop on the train because next year I will be out of journalism school and I will just have a little bit more time to focus on the podcast. Yippee skippy. And then yippee skippy because I'm actually walking away from education at the end of this year with my head held high. So that's yippee skippy on my part. And I can't wait because I need to be a content creator more than I need to be educated young kids about CP. And so, yippee skippy. So that's going to be my end of school gift to myself is Podcast Movement. My birthday's in June, so I could get away with it as a birthday gift. But if you guys have any brilliant ideas on how to get me and Aid out to Podcast Movement, please let me know, because we're going to start working on it as soon as my aide gets back from her trip. And so traveling and me do mix. It's just the part of TSA that I don't mix with. And I don't think anyone does. Anyone does quite quickly, because so those of you who are listening to this podcast, you get to feel my pain with the TSA, but I can put my stick up and do it. I just need to figure out the financing end of it and figure out how many days I'm going to be out in Dallas, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, you guys, because I need to hug some of you who are going to be out there, because you guys have been through a lot with me personally, and then Danielle. I just hope to bring somewhat of Danielle out there. Maybe we can make that work. I don't know, but I think it would be easier for me to go alone and then check it out, and then the next year bring Danielle and bring Aid too. And so and there's no way I've told my aide this. There's no way I'm rooming with someone at Podcast Movement. I'm going to tell those guys that, because I need my space. I need my space. I don't drink. I'm not a big partier. I like to go to bed at 8 p.m. if possible, and so does my aide after a full on day with me. So I have to figure that one out logistically, because 9 times out of 10 at these conferences that people sign up for, they let you room with a person that you don't know, and so I'm going to try to play the disability card with Podcast Movement, folks. So if anyone has any pull with Podcast Movement, folks still listening to this podcast, please, please, please put a good word in for me. And of course, I'll get the funding together, and I'll get the tickets, and you don't have to do that with me. You just have to put a good word in with me about the hotel room, and of course, where the conference is. Yes. Did you want to say?
See you.
Oh yes, you agree with me. You always agree with me. And so and I have already talked to a hotel about this. I dropped the ball a little bit because it's too early, but they said there were no handicap accessible rooms. I'm like, okay. So, so that I may have to look Airbnb. I literally may have to look Airbnb in Dallas, or if anyone has, I had more. And unfortunately, if I would have been thinking straight, I had more housing opportunities in Orlando than I do in Dallas. But we'll figure out something. I am coming out to Podcast Movement. I just have to organize it after next week. So Danielle, do you want to say anything else about fun times traveling with CP?
Yeah, it's hard,
Oh,
but it's fun to go now that you.
well, she said it. She said it. I didn't say it. It's hard, but it's fun to go somewhere new. And I agree with you. I agree. It's just difficult. Traveling nowadays is just so difficult. And so we appreciate you guys. And I am so, so sorry that the mishap on social media. I saw Danielle told me that we weren't allowed to record today, but we managed the recording. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll drop
Uh,
this episode on the feed on Monday.
yeah. I will tell you why. Yeah.
Why later? Danielle has Dan. Also, we hope Danielle has good news. I'll just leave it at that because Danielle did tryouts for play on Friday night. So hopefully Danielle has good news on Thursday, which yes, I am going to support Danielle. I'm going to support Danielle physically, you guys. So maybe we can talk about being in an able-bodied play as a disabled woman. I think that would be cool because all the rest of your actors and actresses are able-bodied, and I have a couple friends in this play already, so I know about. So I hope that Danielle gets good news, but because we're dealing with the able-bodied, you never know what the director is going to tell Danielle. And I will just leave it at that. And we will see you guys on Friday for Friday morning episode. And it will actually be recorded on Thursday, even though my mental space won't be there. But I will try and make it, you guys. So I want you guys to have a good Monday and I want you guys to also not necessarily remember where you were on 9/11, but remember the victims of 9/11 because we're still dealing with the aftermath of 9/11. We always will be. So we did the episode traveling with CP in honor of 9/11, and a lot of people don't know this, but I decided to be a journalist on 9/11 after watching the first plane fly, and I'm actually sitting in the same room where I watched the first plane fly, and I was in eighth grade at the time, and so in elementary school, just finishing up elementary school, yes. And I was at Country A, and my old office, which I'm not in anymore, my old office gave me the heebie-jeebies because I sat there as my principal said, "You're not going anywhere until I get to go ahead." And I remember it was obviously in September. Obviously, it was cold. I remember it distinctly. I remember it distinctly. It was not warm. It was cold. And so and I was also teaching when Sandy Hook happened too. That was my first year of teaching. So you think I've been traumatized enough? Yeah. Yeah, I happened to experience 9/11 as a eighth grader, but fortunately my mom didn't let me watch the aftermath of 9/11, but she certainly let me watch the first plane fly in. My biological mom was a news junkie. She made me watch the news before I went to school every day. And so my biological mom was a news junkie and she left me alone in the morning to eat breakfast and then she would assist me getting dressed for school. And one of the things I said to her, I'll never forget it. I called her. I have an intercom system at my house, which I'm looking at as I record this episode, and I called her and said, "Mom, a plane had just flown into the World Trade Center. I think it's a joke." I literally said that to her, and I said, "Mom, you better turn on the TV now." And that was, I knew by the time I left this house that I wanted to be a journalist, and that's what my degree is going to be in, and that's why I'm starting it up again with a strictly journalism program, not fashion journalism. With a strictly journalism program starting January 14th. And so I'll be busy settling into Ashford University, and I will keep you guys abreast of how that's going. Hopefully, that all my please and good vibes on that one, because hopefully all my transfer credits from CMC, Concordia University Irvine, and the Academy of Arts won't fall as elective. That's my biggest fear right now. So I will be getting my bachelor's degree in journalism, and that's why. That's the story behind journalism. So just remember the victim of 9/11 this week, depending on when you listen to this podcast, depending on whether it's Monday or whether it's Wednesday. And I'll also be remembering the victims of 9/11 throughout Wednesday. And I will probably do a special episode on Welcome to Journalism, which is my solo cast. Which I do on Anchor by myself. And so I do that every single morning at 6:30. And so it's going to be a special episode on 9/11, remembering the 9/11 victims. And so, Danielle, I need to get out of here. I can't do this anymore. I need my brain space can't handle this podcast. So, and I tell you guys, that's the honest truth. And so, Danielle, do you want to do the closing shout out?
Yeah, yeah, so, uh,
Thanks to you guys, and we'll see you on Friday morning. And as I said, remember the victims of 9/11, and we'll just make it an amazing week, considering the anniversary and considering all the craziness going on in all lives. And please just make this world a better place. Thanks, you guys.
bye.